a lot of your TED Talks and a lot of your conversations have been around where you have talked about the Turner's syndrome and then how you discovered it. And later on, you are right now, for example, spreading awareness about it, letting people know what exactly it is. So my first question would be, when did you discover it and what was your first reaction towards it?
All right. So when did I discover it? I remember I was in class 7 and that was years back. So I was in class 7 and it was summer vacation time. My parents felt that there is some problem. This girl is not growing and all. Let's go to doctors and let's see what is happening. So I just remember 3 days continuous tests were going on, and I could remember that dark room because where tests are conducted is a dark room and all. That is all I can remember. And then after 3 days...
Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 8 of Speak with GRV. I am the host of the show, Gaurav Singh. A lot of people face a lot of difficulties in life. And a lot of people give up to those difficulties citing their own reasons. But then there are few people who not only fight those difficulties but also make sure they come out victorious. The guest on Speak with GRV today is one such person. When she was in class 7th, she was identified with a very rare condition called as Turner syndrome. According to a research in USA, every 1 woman in 2000 women suffers from this disease. It stunts your growth at a very early stage and the impacts of it are for lifetime. But she decided not only to fight against this condition but also make sure that anyone who is suffering this condition has enough knowledge about it. Through her work, she has given TED Talks, she has written books, and she is doing a lot of work to spread awareness about this condition. And apart from all this, she is also a lovely human being. So, introducing today's guest on Speak with GRV. So today on Speak with GRV, we have Pinky Bahroos ma'am. Ma'am is a 2-time TEDx speaker, certified self-discovery and life coach. She has also authored the book called Finding the Chromosome X, in which she has talked intensively about the Turner syndrome. She also happens to be a very good poet, and currently she is serving as Division Director at Toastmaster International, District 98. And apart from these qualities, there is one more quality that Pam has, which is also rarely found in people, and that is a very positive attitude towards life despite the difficult conditions that she has faced. So here we have Speak with GRV in conversation with Pinky Bahroos ma'am. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Speak with GRV. I am your host for the show, Gaurav Singh, and today we have another special guest with us, Pinky Bahroos ma'am. So ma'am, first of all, thank you so much for coming and taking out time. And ma'am, my first question would be definitely, first, how are you doing today before I get into anything else?
So first of all, thank you, Gaurav. Thank you, and also to your team for sending me the invite. And how am I doing? Oh, I'm feeling great. I'm excited for this. And yes, I'm full because just now I finished my lunch. So super energetic.
Yes. Ma'am, normally, when I ask this question, and you must have also observed that when you ask this question that how are you doing today, people take it too casually and say, yeah, I'm okay. Even being okay is such a privilege to a lot of people that they don't realize the value.
I agree.
So talking about Pinky ma'am, ma'am is a 2-time TEDx speaker. She is a certified self-discovery life coach. She is also an author of the book, which we will talk about. So I'm not telling you the name of the book right now. She also happens to be a poet and she's very good at it. And also is a division director at Toastmaster International District 98. And right now, ma'am, I also saw that, you have been giving a lot of talks, giving a lot of work. Recently, I think also you were invited to one of the event where you had given a talk on a LinkedIn. I had shared it. So what was that?
All right. So this tells me, let me congratulate you because you have done your homework. You have done your research. So well done on that. Yes, so that was global education and training, and we had to speak because students sometimes face pressure. Sometimes teachers and parents, they get confused what to do. Sometimes you face difficulties, you face obstacles. So it was a topic somewhat related to that.
Right, right.
So that is where I had been invited. And yes, if you tell me that I have been talking here and there, yes, because that is what I love to do. Whether it is stage or whether it is screen, I just love talking. And instead of saying talking, I would love to say that I love interacting.
Yes, ma'am.
If you have noticed, since I see that you have seen most of my talks,
Yes,
if you
ma'am.
have noticed, I rarely do use a PowerPoint until I have been asked to. So that is my style. I just want to talk, I just want to interact and share my thoughts and listen to others. So that's what I have been doing and enjoying the journey so far.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, Steve Jobs once said, and if you need a PowerPoint to present your presentation, then your presentation is not powerful enough. Actually, he was making fun of Windows, but this is also a valid point. So, ma'am, but what do you prefer more? For example, this mode that we are talking in right now, online, it is convenient, but yes, that physical touch is not there. Or when you actually go to the stage and meet people, which is the part that you prefer more?
Okay, so both have the pros and cons.
Yes,
Recently, like when pandemic started and we were all thinking what will happen and all, I was skeptical. I was not happy with the change because by that time I had never spoken online. For me, it was always stage and audience. Gradually, I learned, and because of that, I got opportunities to speak not only in India but
yes,
across the globe.
exactly.
And I have learned it. So it's a new learning for me. For example, when we are with the live audience, you have to take care of the stage. You have to take care, of eye contact and different things. There are different things we do. But when we are online, that time also we have to take care of different things. For example, I'm saving time. I don't have to get ready much beforehand and travel and go to the venue. About eye contact, if I look at the lens, it has been taken care of. And I've got the reach. I've spoken at different platforms, whether it is US, UK, or anywhere. It's because of the online medium. So if you see what I love more, of late I've fallen in love with the online medium, but it took some time to accept the change.
Yes, ma'am. But the good thing is that the rate at which you would have, or a person would have grown, like going to the physical events, that has increased because of the online. Because now connectivity is not an issue. You can sit at home and connect with almost anybody in this world right now. And I think if the online concept would have not, had evolved so much in the recent past, maybe we would have not interacted. I don't know how difficult it would have been to actually get you to have a talk.
Exactly. See, this is the example. And we
Yeah.
are talking to each other, interacting.
Yes, ma'am. I'm coming to my next question. So, a lot of your TED Talks and a lot of your conversations have been around where you have talked about the Turner's syndrome and then how you discovered it. And later on, you are right now, for example, spreading awareness about it, letting people know what exactly it is. So, my first question would be, when did you discover it? And what was your first reaction towards it?
All right. So, when did I discover it? I remember I was in class 7, and that was years back. So, I was in class 7, and it was summer vacation time. My parents felt that there is some problem. This girl is not growing and all. Let's go to doctors and let's see what is happening.
Yes.
So, I just remember 3 days continuous tests were going on, and I could remember that dark room because where tests are conducted is a dark room and all. That is all I can remember. And then after 3 days later on, when the reports came and all, and I was not informed about it. My parents were informed about it. Of course, I was not informed of. Then later on, suddenly while finding something in the wardrobe, I found this file with my name written on it. And
Yes.
that is when I saw that and I understood reading that because I was in class 7, of course. So I understood something is wrong, and that is when my parents told me everything. Now, if you want to know what is Turner syndrome, it's like all human beings have 23 sets of chromosomes.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, the 23rd set in a male, it is X and Y. And in a female, it is 2X. Now, when the second and the 23rd set, when the second X stops working, or even if it is there, either it's missing or even if it's there, it's not working, that is when this happens. In short, what happens is the growth stops just before the puberty.
Okay.
And of course, it can affect your heart, it can affect your bones, it can affect your ears, and there are many side effects. So this is in simple language. And how was my reaction? That time I was in class 7. So, and if you remember, summer vacation was going on. So just 2-3 days, I was just trying to understand. But after that, I was back to normal and playing with my friends and all as if nothing had happened. So that is how initially my reaction was. But it hit me hard when I was in class 9. And that is when I understood that what this exactly was and how it can affect my life.
Yes, ma'am. So now, ma'am, you had mentioned that story about the girl Radhika from 9th A, 9th B story. If you remember, your teacher had asked you
Yes.
to call Radhika Didi from
Call her Didi. Yeah.
Can you tell us what was that story?
Okay, sure. So what had happened, like, we were 9, of course, each class has different sections.
Yes, ma'am.
So I was in 9A and Radhika, the girl you're talking about, she was in 9B. And class work was going on, we were doing our work, and suddenly the teacher calls us and says that, Pinky, come here. And I go, and of course, I was one of the sweetest, one of the most obedient child a teacher can have. So, never being punished. And also, she told me, go and call Radhika Didi from class 9B. And I wanted to tell her, ma'am, we are in the same class, only the section is different. Why should I call her Didi?
Yes, ma'am.
But I didn't have the courage. I just quietly went and did the same. I went and called her. And to my surprise, what teacher did, it did not hurt me. What hit me was that, hey, come on, Radhika, we have studied together in class 7 and 8. In class 7 and 8, we were in the same class, we were in the same section.
Yes.
Couldn't you, it would not have been hit that hard if she was, hey, Pinky, why are you calling me Didi? Stop that. Have you forgotten that we've studied in the same class? A simple line could have changed for me, but no. Anyway, I don't blame anyone. The reason being, we all were growing, we all were not mature enough. So again, it was a lesson for me, and that hit me hard. And many incidents like that, and I fell prey to depression. But yes, these things happened, and now when I look back at those, I felt, okay, everything has taught me, everything has helped me grow to become the person I am today.
Right, ma'am. And ma'am, what happens is, for example, there are, two aspects to this. Either you do not accept it and then life becomes difficult, or you accept, okay, this is what it is and it was never in your control. And then you start looking at the other aspects of life, which you have done. So my next question in this aspect would be, why did you decide to spread awareness about Turner syndrome, and what exactly have you been doing in that regard?
Okay, that's a nice question. So how did I decide? Actually, when I started working, I have worked in Dubai in a travel agency for 12 years, and I was enjoying my life, enjoying like anything, name, fame, money, whatever you say, I just had it. And I was in a good position in the company, and when I was in the 12th year, my bones started paining, like there was excruciating pain, and that is when doctors told me that I had osteoporosis. I was around 33 then and told me I had osteoporosis. Now, you asked me what is osteoporosis? It is a brittle bone disease. Like for now, example, I am 44 years old, but my bones are like that of an 84 years old. That's how brittle my bones are. So that is when doctor told me that, Pinky, you know why this happened? Because at 33, people don't get it. They get it after 60s and all osteoporosis. It is because I had Turner syndrome. Now, that is when I realized that there was no awareness. Even I did not bother to check with doctors. How should I take care of myself? What are the problems I can face? I remember shown, like when I was 13, 14 years old, that time I had shown to doctor. That's it. After that, I never bothered to study about it. Never. I was living my life.
Right.
And even in India, there was not much awareness.
Right.
So that is the reason. So I realized I had made a mistake. It would have been so good if I would have known before that I have to take care of my heart. I have to take care of my bones. I have to take care of so many things. My life, I have no complaints yet, but maybe life could have been better than it is today. So that is when I realized, okay, forget everything. What's done, dusted, let's forget it. Let's see what I can do now. So that is why I didn't want anyone else to make the mistakes I had done. So that is the reason I decided that, hey, let me come out and let me speak about it. That's how I decided. That's what you have found it in my book and even in my TEDx talk. And coming to what I have done, of course, wherever I can, I speak about it. And we have a group where we are there and I get calls. Even today morning, I got a message from someone that she read my book. The first thing when that girl found out that she has this health condition, on Google, she found my book. Now, in India, it is still a surprise to me that India, when you Turner syndrome in India, my name pops up. So it is still a surprise for me that there are many cases. Come on, and it's fine. And she read my book and she sent me a message that she thanked me for that. She thanked me for coming out. And even I remember when I gave a talk at AIMS about it, AIMS Delhi. So a father was there. He came to me and after my talk was over, he was crying and I felt bad. Oh God, did I say something wrong? He told me one thing that, he used to take sleeping pills to sleep every night. He was so worried for his daughter. He was so, of course, every father would. But he told me that, Pinky, from today, I will never do this. And I know if you can do it, my daughter can do it too.
Yes, ma'am. I think what you have done is really, really amazing because, incidents like these, when somebody says, ma'am, I read your book and, that was really helpful, or the incident you just narrated, it spreads so much of positivity in the people that somebody suffered from this, and rather than saying that because I suffered from this, so what I can do, you decided to actually spread information about this so that tomorrow somebody having that knowledge doesn't go to the worst stage. They can actually take precautionary measures. So I think, ma'am, that's really, really wonderful of you, and I can only say thank you so much for doing that. So, ma'am, then how did the book happen? How did you you were spreading the information through your talks. It's understood you were going to people informing. But was this idea there that I am going to write a book, or it came up just? How did this happen?
Not at all. Whatever has happened to me by chance. So this book also, as you already mentioned, I'm a part of Toastmasters and I've been a Toastmaster since 2017. And I used to give speeches there also, and even now I do give speeches. So I had material ready, because I had given so many speeches, and then suddenly, while scrolling Facebook, I'm super active on Facebook. So while scrolling Facebook, I came across an ad where a publisher had mentioned that they are accepting the manuscript for the year 2018. So I just sent a part of one speech I just sent. Let me try. It's like hua nahi hua, nothing wrong in it, nothing wrong in sending. And then when I sent it, they actually loved it. And then they told me to write it properly and send it So I sent a manuscript of 1,000 words. I said 1,000 words, okay. I've you sometimes I have been the most ignorant person, like careless person, and that has always come to me as a bliss, like in my favor. So so I just wrote completed in 1,000 words. Okay, this is my book ticket. And then he told me, okay, ma'am, there's never a book published of 1,000 words. Make it at least 10,000. So I said, okay. So I just made it to 3,000. I sent it. They loved it. And slowly, at the end, it was around. So it's not a, very thick book. It's a very thin book written in simple language. And that is how that book happened. It is not that I aimed it. It just happened to me.
All good things happen to good people, I will say. All right. So now one aspect, for example, that I observed during our Toastmasters meet also, and in your lot of TEDx speeches also, that you just enjoy your stage presence. It's a fact that, after death, public speaking is it's the second most brutal fear that people have. So, and normally it happens. For example, I also like public speaking, but normally I have, spoken to my friends and a lot of people. They say when I go on the stage and see so many people are standing in front of me, they start getting nervous. There are chills down their spine, and they think if I say something wrong, what will happen? But you seem to, when you go on the stage, there is a bright smile on your face. You are enjoying every moment of it. So tell me, what is your thought of going on a stage? How do you feel when you are interacting with the public? And if there is someone who wants to, let's say, become a public speaker tomorrow, how can they start, and what are the things they have to do?
All right. So first of all, you yourself have answered a part of the question, because when you said what is our fear, it's not the fear of stage, how we say it. It's actually the fear of making mistakes. Once that fear goes away, then you'll be unstoppable. So I have two things in mind. So first of all, whenever I go on stage, whether it's for competition or whether it's for presenting a talk or anything, I usually wear a blazer like I'm wearing now, or jeans or pants or anything. So there's always a pocket. Now in my pocket, I have bullet points, a sheet, a small square paper, bullet points. So I am comfortable within that. If I fumble anywhere, I have something with me. Now God's grace, I have not used it yet, and even if I have to use it, I don't mind. Anytime, even if I use it, it's fine. So mentally, I'm comfortable. Second thing, what I tell myself, that when you're talking to your best friend, or forget best friend, when you're talking to your friends, do you hesitate? Do you have any thoughts in mind?
Yeah.
No, you yourself are there. So whenever I am at any stage, whether offline, online, one thing is there, I am talking to my friend. Now it's become a habit. I don't have to even tell myself. It's just in there. So maybe that is the reason I enjoy myself when I'm comfortable. And as I said, it's okay for me. It's even if I make mistakes, it's fine with me. Even if I fumble today, it's fine with me.
Yes.
It's okay to me.
I think that is one core, message that one can take from this, the fear of making mistakes. So it's okay if you commit a mistake, because everybody who's sitting and listening to you, they know it takes a lot to actually go on the stage and deliver a talk. So they would actually appreciate it. Ma'am, there is one more thing that I've observed, because since I really like public speaking, and when I was going through your TEDx talks, you also use sense of humor to great impact. When you're describing your story of Turner syndrome, you said, even when I'm traveling in economy class, I get the pleasure of business class because of the space. So is this part of your personality, or is this also something you have developed over the years to use sense of humor as a method of communication in your talks?
No, it was never ever a part of my personality. Since you're a Toastmaster, you may be knowing that we have a curriculum called Pathways.
Yes, ma'am.
So I had started with Presentation Mastery Path, which is related to motivational speaking and all. So it's after doing that, of course I improved in public speaking, but humor was never my cup of tea. That happened because I selected the path engaging humor. I forced myself. I was scared to select it because I was always under the impression, no, it's not my cup of tea. So I forced myself into selecting it. So I forced myself into that. And secondly, contest.
Yes, ma'am.
In Toastmasters, you must be knowing that we also have contests. So when I started participating in contests, I understood that humor works. However serious the speech is, you have to make the audience feel light. You have to make the audience feel comfortable. When your speech ends, the audience has to be in good mood.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
So that is when I understood the importance of adding humor, and I developed it over the years. I learned how to do it. It can be through suspense, it can be through pauses, it can be taking a twist where you help the audience reach somewhere, you make them think something, and then it's actually the opposite. So
Right.
these little tricks I learned, and that is how I incorporated. But no, it was Pinky and humor were poles apart.
This is really wonderful because for some people it comes naturally. You'll see there are some people who have this sense of humor. They'll crack jokes even when they are speaking. Like you mentioned, you take the audience to a certain stage, and then there is suddenly there's a surprise, so that humor element actually comes. But to actually learn it, I think that's a great ability. And to the audience who will be listening, I think Toastmasters is a great platform to start your journey with, in case you want to improve your public speaking. So ma'am, with this, another question. Actually, I have a lot of questions myself also. How did TEDx happen, and what does it take to become a TEDx speaker? What is the a procedure, and how do you actually prepare for the talk? Because TEDx talks are, there are set standard. They have to be in a proper order and proper time. Ma'am, how was that phase?
Okay, so this also just happened to me. I was a part of a theatre group, Applause Vadodara, and I also used to perform poetries. So after performing a poetry, we were having tea, and the owner of Applause, director of Applause Vadodara, Apsara, told me, "Hey Pinky, you speak so well. Why don't you try for TEDx?" And you know what my reply was? My reply was, "What is TEDx?"
Okay.
I didn't know because I've always lived, of course I love interacting, but I've always lived in my own bubble, and I'm always happy in my small world.
Right.
So I don't know what is TEDx, because then she told me about it. So then I applied, and nothing happened for a year. But then again, then it happened. Then suddenly this started, let me apply again. And that is when I saw a talk was happening in Mumbai. I sent them the video, and that video was of a speech which I had given at the Toastmasters Club.
Yes, ma'am.
They loved it, and then interview happened and all, and I got selected. So that also just happened for me. It is not that I knew about it and all, and I was struggling and going here and there. Of course, I had applied for 6 to 7 events, but then it just happened. I've known people who have applied for so many events,
Right.
and yet they are struggling.
Right. So
as I said, I'm the lucky one.
Also, ma'am, they also take into consideration a certain level of achievement before calling you to TEDx. That concept is also there.
Oh yes. So luckily by that time I had the media coverage, I had my videos, my book was published, and I never knew this all could go in my favor.
Yes, ma'am.
But I had collected everything. Everything was organized and everything was there in my application. What they look for. So I'll tell you, we say that speakers should be of a level.
Right.
Coaches are appointed to train you.
Okay. So
Yeah.
there's a professional person who will help you deliver the talk.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So what they look for, what have you done for the society?
Okay.
How are you helping people? How effective can your talk be? What change can it bring? How impactful what impact can it bring? What message are you giving? These are the points they first consider, and then they look at how good a speaker you are. Because that is somewhere you can be trained. But what you have done and how impactful your talk will be, what message you have, that depends on you.
Exactly. So it's not just about good communication skills. You should have also done some concrete work in the past to be, eligible.
Yes.
And
That's
ma'am,
more important.
And you have done a lot, in fact, you are more than eligible always. Okay. Ma'am, you also, talked about a concept called as be comfortable in your own skill. You have mentioned this time and again in your talks. So can you just throw more light on it? What exactly is that?
Yeah. So I remember watching a video, maybe you must have watched it also. It was a short 30 seconds video. A teacher was writing 9 tables of 9. 9 ones are 9, 9 twos are 18 and all. And when there was 9 into 10, he wrote 9 into 9. Instead of 81, he wrote 80. Now all the students shouted, Sir, it's not 80, it's not 80, it's 81, 81. And then he told something that, see, when I was writing everything correct, nobody told anything, nobody applauded for me. But when I made this slight mistake, everybody you told me, you immediately pointed out that, hey, it's not this, it should be this. I believe that is what we do. We do with ourselves, we do with others. We are quick to point out the mistakes. We are quick to see the mistakes. But we are least bothered about the good things happening around us. We are least bothered about the appreciating ourselves. Forget others. First, we should learn to appreciate ourselves. First, we should learn to identify skills we have. Then only we'll be able to help others and appreciate the good in others. It all starts from you, and that is where we fail. And that is what I wanted to say, that be comfortable in your own skin. Focus on what you have and what you can do with it.
Right, definitely, because as you have mentioned, everybody is blessed with their unique set of skills. So if we stop comparing and working on what we have, it would be really great. Okay, ma'am, coming to a last segment where we'll have some lighter side of the questions. So ma'am, we talked about work. You are giving TEDx talk, you are going to Toastmasters, you are writing books. What do you do to relax when you're not working? How do you chill?
Okay, so what do I do to relax? It's watching the reality TV shows.
And which one do you watch?
It's usually... yeah, sorry?
No, I said Big Boss. Big Boss is one which is famous.
No, I had only watched one which had Siddharth Shukla. I haven't watched others. And I watched Khatro Ke Khiladi.
That is
yeah.
That Shukla one.
Yeah, that big. So that is the only season I watched. Then I watched Khatro Ke Khiladi. I love dance reality shows. I can't dance. I have 2 left feet. But I enjoy. But I love to see people dancing. And so I love the dance reality shows, singing reality shows. Khatro Ke Khiladi. Oh God, how they do it. Yeah. And I just love that. And even Khatro Ke Khiladi gives me the motivation.
Okay, huh?
I remember, like, okay, they are scared, but they go ahead and face their fears.
Right. Yeah, because they are given tasks that are a bit uncomfortable in nature.
So. Exactly.
Apart from this, do you engage in any activity apart from writing book? So is there music, singing, art, anything is there as part of your recreational activity?
I love singing. I'm a bathroom singer, but I love singing. The thing is, I mess up with the lyrics. I can just never memorize the lyrics. So I'll put the words here and there, whatever words come to music I can remember. But lyrics, I just mess it up and I just sing and enjoy myself.
And the good part is you're enjoying. So as long as that is being done, that's a great thing. So now, one more question. What is your core philosophy of life? This is something you actually believe.
Core philosophy of life will be practical. Take decisions practically. Think practically. I'm not saying that no, don't have emotions. But some decisions you have to take practically. For example, Gaurav, when I was in my teenage, I wanted to become a beauty queen.
Okay.
I wanted to wear a crown like like Sushmita Sen.
Right.
But if I would have kept that same goal, I'm sure I never would have achieved it. So you have to be practical. You have to change being practical. So it's just, that's something which I follow, that be practical. But yes, it does not mean be emotionless.
Right, ma'am.
Have emotions, but just take decisions practically.
Right, exactly, ma'am. And as just reiterating the point, because reason being that because all of us are unique in our own ways. So if initially growing up we are affected a lot by our surroundings, because we see our peers are going in this, so we tend to go in this. But only after a lot of self introspection and over the years you'll realize maybe this is something you're good at. For example, right now what you're doing, spreading awareness about the syndrome, helping people with their public speaking skills, spreading positivity in general. I think if you had been doing something else, maybe you would have not reached these many heights. So that's where I think the practical approach comes in.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. So ma'am, my last two questions. The last one is my favorite. This one, what advice would you give to a young girl or a guy like who are going through depression, finding it difficult to get that clarity in life, and are like the youth of today are in a confused state? So what should they do about it?
So I would say, people say, okay, I do a lot of self-talk.
Yes.
I talk to myself a lot. So I would just say, be alert of your feelings. Know yourself. Kabhi aisa lag raha hai ki no, I'm falling a prey to depression. Just try to come out of it.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you deal with depression? Like, I would say it's not possible to do it alone. For me, my parents, my family, I could come out of it only hearing 3 words. We love you. They just told me one thing, Pinky, no matter what, we are there for you. I just had to hear that. And after that, things started falling in place.
Right.
So I just knew that someone is there for me. And I started understanding things better. I started self-talking, and I could identify my skills only by self-talking. So see what you can do with what you have and create magic. And last, I would say, never forget to celebrate. We all have little achievements. Anything little you achieve, celebrate, enjoy. Take opportunities to celebrate, I would say. Even if I do anything, kabhi Excel seekh liya, I hate Excel, but kuch naya seekh liya, I celebrate by eating a chocolate, ice cream or anything. Just celebrate. No harm in that. And see, that will bring a change.
I think that's really, really wonderful. So ma'am, coming to my next question, actually this was the last question. So you have done so much wonderful work. You have written a book, TEDx talk, again, like mentioned. So let's say tomorrow, if a movie director comes to you and say that, Pinky ma'am, we want to make a movie on your life, what title would you give it? I have one title in my mind, but I want to listen. What title would you give it?
It would be Journey to Living a Dream Never Dreamt of.
Man, that's amazing. And any specific reason for that? Why exactly this?
Because whatever I have achieved, as I told, everything just happened. I've never dreamt of. The thing is that I have always continued doing what I felt comfortable with and what I knew I can do. I've taken pauses, but it's never been a stop.
Yes, ma'am.
The journey has always continued. I believe, it said, right? Rolling stone gathers no moss.
Right.
So that is the reason that, So because I've never stopped, I've always continued. And that is, it's a journey. And that is because whether it's TEDx.
Yes, ma'am.
Whether it's writing a book. I didn't dream of that. Those just happened to me. Of course, I worked for it, but I never worked keeping those goals in mind.
Right.
I've always had short-term goals.
Yeah. I think I was also about to, just focus on this point, that when you mentioned that in order to become a TEDx speaker, apart from like having the ability to speak well, you should have also done a lot of work in the form of community work or impacting people. But you don't do that work in order to give a TEDx talk. You do that work and
Right.
then they'll call you, because they're calling you to appreciate the work that you have done. And it should never go in that reverse direction, that let me do some NGO work or CSR work so that I can get a TEDx talk. Right. It should be a medium to, like, because somebody is doing well, let us spread it to a lot of people around the world so that they get inspired, they feel positive. One more question. So let's say if you could go back in the past and change a few decisions that you have taken in your life, what would those be? Or would you want to even change anything by going in the past?
If I want to change anything, I would love to go in the past, and definitely, as I said, if there's only one thing I would like to change, there are few things, as I said, I came to know at a later stage in my life. For example, I was talking about Turner syndrome, awareness, like how I should take care of myself. So that is the only thing I would like to change, because now I am speaking and all. Maybe if I would have known that before, I would have been in a better condition to do many other things.
Right. That's right.
But it's not a regret. As I said, I am happy. I am someone who would go back to the past to learn from the mistakes, but not regret it. It's okay to learn and move ahead. So that is what I would do.
Ma'am, when you were in 7th or when you were in 9th, when you identified, maybe I am not a normal child, and there would have been feelings like, why it is happening to me, why I am the one to which it only happened. Because I think, and you have mentioned this very positively in your TED talk, where you said that only 1% females get affected by Turner syndrome, and I actually happen to be in that privileged 1% group you mentioned. So at that time you had this thought, God, why me? But then when you see your journey over the years, you have inspired people, you have spoken to so many people, doing a lot of work. And for example, right now when you're sitting here, so now it all seems worth it. Now it all seems that it happened for a reason. Maybe my life was destined to give a message to the people, and I'm actually doing that. In the hindsight, when you see this journey, how does it feel?
Exactly what you said. Yes, it feels good. It was never an anger. Why me? It was always an anger when I wanted to do something and I could not do.
Yes.
There was a blockage. So the anger was because of that. Whether it is my height or anything else, I'm not able to do few things because of that. So that was the one which irritated me, and that was the one which developed an anger in me. So it was never why me, it was because I wanted to do so many things, and I've always been like that, and I'm not able to do. But then, as I said, since you've seen my talk, I'll just take a piece from there, that I mentioned about looking at the flip side, looking at the other side of the coin. For example, when I was speaking about my clothes, you spoke about the airplane. So even when I was speaking about my shopping, when I go for shopping, initially I used to get angry that my friends are going in the adult section, lady section. Why do I have to go to the children's section? But then when I learned how much they are spending and how much I am spending, so I was so happy. Oh God, just look how many jeans you got and how many jeans I got, how many tops you got and how many tops I got. So all these things helped me see the other side. So there was always a other side. You just have to see. It's always present. But sometimes we are so focused and we are so blocked by doing things, by seeing the things, focusing on the things we cannot do. We forget to focus on what we can do and what we are capable of. Once we start doing that, nothing can stop us. And I'll tell you, start with small things. It will lead to bigger things. Just start
Right.
and see the magic happen.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I think because, like you mentioned, if we start focusing on things we can't do, we actually are not focusing on things that we can. And that is where a lot of people, find it difficult. If they could not clear like one exam, IIT examination or UPSC examination, they think that the life has come to an end and there is no other alternative. But maybe if they try other options, explore things in a life, then the chances of success would definitely increase. Ma'am, I would say there's a saying that life is not what happens to you, but how you react to it. And the way you have reacted to your situation, your life is really wonderful. It's very easy, they show in Instagram videos and YouTube videos, be positive, do this, and that 10-second, 15-second video ends. But to actually go through all those things, to actually tell yourself that no, maybe this has happened to me, but I will have a positive outlook towards it. I will spread awareness towards it. I am actually going to, impact a lot of people through my work is really, really amazing. And I consider it my privilege and honor to have this opportunity to actually, have a conversation with you. And I'll tell you one more thing. So, like you had mentioned that there was a concept where people used to wear purple to spread awareness about Turner syndrome.
Yes.
So that's the reason why I'm, just to pay tribute to you, I am wearing this pink t-shirt because your name and pink t-shirt, it all aligns in that. And so that was my way of showing respect. So I would just say thank you so much, ma'am, for coming. And for me, it was absolutely an honor to, talk to you.
Oh my God, thank you. Thank you so much, Gaurav, for the invite. And when you said about this purple thing and pink, yes, thank you so much. It means a lot. It really means a lot. And that's it. I'll just end with everyone telling that, we all have skills. Please identify those and start see what you can do. And never stop learning. It can be simple things. Now also I'm doing a course.
Yes, ma'am.
NLP course and mindfulness course I'm doing. So I always try to see what can I do, how can I improve my skills, take my skills to the next level. So anything you can do, identify your skills, see what you can do to take it to the next level, and just enjoy the journey. Life is beautiful no matter what. I'll end with that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. I think, ma'am, this will be a lot of insightful to anybody who actually goes on and listens to this conversation. And for me also, it's always wonderful listening to you because, some people have this aura, this energy that when they're speaking, that excitement in their voice is there. So like I mentioned, I think in the Toastmasters also, I was like preparing for my speech. I think I also had an event that day when you were invited as a guest. So I was just like preparing for something, and then you were speaking, and I was suddenly like, okay, wait, let me listen to her. That was the impact because the intensity, the energy with which you were speaking. So I think that is something that is really great. And thank you so much. That's what I can say.
Thank you.
All right, ma'am. We'll close it here. So thank you so much.